Welcome to Empirical Pea Pod. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. If you could, please subscribe, follow, share, like, comment, whatever the hell happens when we do these things. I'm your host, Tim Day. Let's get to the show. All right, let's give it a go.
Check. Is this mic hot? Is it hot?
This world is hot right now. I'm so sweaty.
Summertime.
All right. We're here with Kate Bamrick. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Fine.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Of course.
So a little backstory. I just set all this up, convinced my friend Kate to talk to me, then sat down and left my memory card at my sister's, like a true professional.
Sure.
But the sweetheart that she is drove me out there to grab it. Just what a waste of time. But anyways.
Went for a little drive.
Yeah. Wasted all our conversation on that, which is good.
Exactly. We did the whole thing without anything in the car.
Which is better. It's so much easier without a recording device. So you guys can enjoy this, I guess.
There you go. What should we talk about?
You're going to hear me drinking water because I'm very parched.
Slurp it up.
If you've watched the show, you'll know that I'm made of powder, as I discussed with Annie.
Do you want a straw?
Do you have like a lid, like a sippy cup?
I do.
No, that's all right. All right. All these episodes have kind of taken somewhat of a similar structure.
Yeah.
If you've listened to them, you've probably seen that. Even though at this point, there's only 3 that exists.
True.
But there's like 5 more already there over the next. I'm peeling back the 4th wall so you can see that. But what I'm curious is, you have a unique story as opposed to everybody else.
About how I came to Oswego?
Because as I've discussed at what feels like nauseum at this point, is that most of us all came together through school, like at various points in school or anything like that. But you actually came because you didn't go to school with us.
No.
Yeah. So where do you start?
I came in like right after that. So I moved out here in 2001, January of 2001.
I literally graduated in January of 2001.
There you go.
Where were you before?
I was in Wheaton. So I grew up in Wheaton.
It's pronounced Wheaton.
It is Wheaton. It's a hard H.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Wheaton. And then, what brought me out here, my cousins, Sarah and Garrett Sullivan, my mom's brother Mike is their dad. They lived here, and I am extremely close with them, and so I was always coming out here. It's funny, I've known Randy also the longest because
he was friends with Garrett.
When they were like little kids. So I've known him since like the mid 90s. I mean,
that's crazy.
When they moved up here because they were from Bloomington, and so so I was always coming out here. And then, like, in high school and stuff, and, like, right after that, when I was really hanging out here quite a bit, I just started meeting everybody through my cousins and, like, all of their friends. Not that I didn't have my own crew in Wheaton and stuff, but I just loved everybody. Honest to God, it was music.
Really?
Yeah, because I, was always going to shows, and that was a big part of my life. And it seemed like everybody out here did that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And that just connected immediately. And it was like, well, I'm going to hang out here.
You're literally wearing a Prince shirt.
Yes, I am.
Which is amazing. So we know your credentials are legit.
Yeah. So at that time, Chasing You had
What an old
formed.
sentence.
Yeah. And so that was really like all those guys, like Schmed I met for like before I even moved. I was hanging out with him. I think he might have been even still in high school, like, just hanging out with all of them. So then I decided to move. I moved into, do you know Jake Hines?
I've heard the name for sure.
Yeah, he's older, but from Oswego. So he lived in Boulder Hill, so I rented a room when I was 18 in his house.
Wow.
And moved out here.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that was right out of high school.
Yeah. More or less. Insane. I think I had been out because I I'm technically in class of 2000, but I graduated early.
Yeah.
So I've been out for a while.
Right.
So yeah.
How long did you stay there then in Boulder Hill?
I lived there for, I don't know, like 6 months or
so not
something
that long.
like that. Yeah, it wasn't that long.
Where do we go after that?
And then after that, my friend Natalie and I moved into, if you want to call it an apartment, in downtown Montgomery. You know that old-ass building, like, on the southwest corner of, like, right downtown, like, right by the water?
Oh, yeah.
So I think right now, it's been so many different things. I think right now it would be like a French bakery or something. I don't know. It was a Chinese restaurant for a while. There was a taco place, well, whatever. When I lived there, so there was nothing on the first floor. There was a bar upstairs on the one side, and then our apartment was on the other side.
Wow, usually you hear like apartments above a bar.
Yeah, no, it was next door, because that fucking
which is
bar,
above a potential restaurant.
Yeah, there was nothing on the first floor. The bar was upstairs, and then we were on the other side. And that place, I think it had 2 working electrical outlets.
Wow.
We had extension cords running, but it was so much fun. I mean, we were like 19.
Right. Couldn't even go to the bar.
No, I mean, we did, but yeah. No, we couldn't. So we lived there for maybe like another 6-8 months, something like that. And then we were so sick of it and had some contention with the cokehead guy that owned it. So then we ended up moving to, Natalie and I moved to the apartments at Covey, like where Jay lived for a while.
Yeah.
And we lived there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What was your... Because you're such a tight-knit person in the group, you're almost an elusive member of the group. Like, everybody knows Kate. You're kind of like almost the mother of the group.
It's so funny because I've never felt that way. I've always felt like you guys are all just this, like, big bubble because you grew up together.
Yeah.
And I just am, like, on the outside, like, looking in a little bit.
Maybe that's actually the secret, like, because we need somebody like that. That's like, we can trust you more.
Hey, I've seen the world outside here.
Exactly. Like, we're all too close to it. But, all right, like, you're kind of like, all right, we'll take it to Kate. Whatever she says, we'll trust.
Yeah. So I would say, like, during that time, I think, I was hanging out with my cousins a lot, and my cousin Sarah, and it was really her boyfriend, now husband, Ryan Miller, at the time, and like everybody he knew, and then obviously his brothers, and so Scott and Mike.
That's more of your cousins? Is Ryan's?
No, but Sarah was always with Ryan, like dating Ryan, and so then all of them. And then I met Shike, and Shike and I really became really good friends, like right away.
Yeah.
And so from then on, it was just
Like kind of spiderwebs everybody else.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Did you never, once you came like this area, the Oswego area, you never really left again as far as living anywhere else?
I did.
You did?
I did. So, at that time, then it was funny, my parents, they lived in Wheaton, and then I moved out, and then my dad got really sick, and he couldn't do the stairs anymore, so they ended up buying this house that we're in now, or building it, in 2002, and they moved out here, so they sort of followed me out here.
In 2002?
Yeah.
You've lived in this house since 2002?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me because I grew up in Fox Chase literally right next door.
Yeah.
And we moved out of there in like 2004, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And these were brand new that year.
I remember when this was being
nothing,
built.
Right. Yeah, I remember like before they built here, like Mill Road was like dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. I mean, granted, it's been 30 years, so it makes sense. But still, it's like jarring to be like, wow. Because I usually don't even come this far because my sister lives in Plano, so I rarely come past that. But I miss the area, and then when I spend a day here, I'm like, I don't miss this area. I miss the people for sure.
We're West Side folks.
I like that you consider Oswego people West Side folks.
No, the side of the river.
Oh yeah, West Side of the river. Mm-hmm. I did just grow up. Did you spend a lot of time in the valley then?
No, I growing up in Wheaton, I was much more of like a Oak Brook, Yorktown.
Yeah.
Like we would go that way for everything.
So you would
we never
leave.
came out here. Yeah.
Smart. Much smarter. So at this point then, so you became close friends with Shike, and that kind of brings you into kind of the group or bigger at large then.
Yes.
And started kind of becoming friends with a lot more people.
I did.
So where do you think this perception of kind of taking on this motherly role comes from?
I think that just started because...
You think we just put it on you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that started, I don't know. I was always the person like that had everybody over, right?
Yeah.
Because at the time when we lived at Covey, like I had the apartment. Everybody kind of lived at home still.
Yeah.
And it was like headquarters for a while. I think Schmed lived on my couch for like a week and never left. Like we went to work, he was still there. We partied every night at that place.
Yeah.
And everybody's just over all the time. And it was like this loop every single day. It was just the same thing. And so I think me having that place, and I just became like the person that had the place.
Yeah.
And then, but I think that mom thing started maybe in Michigan when I started bringing friends up to Michigan, because then it was again like me inviting people up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys had like a vacation house in Michigan.
Yeah, so that place, we got that place maybe in like 2007. And then, just started bringing friends up.
And then it was like a thing, like within the group, like, oh, if you've either
trip.
been there or you haven't. And it was like a rite of passage. Like you either got to go or you didn't. And at this point, that place has been sold.
Yeah.
A few years ago, right?
There's a new place now.
A new place that's is smaller, but it's under construction.
It is. Smaller, but there's still a lot of beds.
Yeah.
And it's closer to the beach. You can just walk right down there.
I like how I feel like it wasn't that far from the beach before.
You had to drive though before.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now can you see the beach then from the property?
You can't see it, but it's not
there.
that far. You can just walk. Like, yeah.
I didn't even know there was a beach up there.
It's like a couple blocks.
I've only been up there once, and it was
Well, it is
dark.
on a pretty big lake.
Really? I don't know. I was there dark.
Yeah.
And on drugs. Mm-hmm. So I didn't notice.
Well, that was the thing. It was the mushroom house.
It was. Yeah. It was the mushroom house.
Mm-hmm.
It was an amazing time.
Yeah. I think, I want to have everybody up as soon as this house gets finished.
Yeah. Probably less drugs. Or not.
No.
We'll see.
No less drugs.
I wanted to see if we wanted to put out the perception that we're in our 40s now and want to be responsible.
Come on.
No. Maybe some other time.
No. That's for every day, but for that occasion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in. Sounds like a great time. What, I don't even know where to start.
Well, you were saying, like, did I ever live anywhere else?
Yeah.
I did move I lived in Arizona for a couple of years.
So after your parents bought this place.
Yeah, so then in 2005, my dad died that January. So when I was living at Covey, I was working in school. I went to Columbia, and then my dad got sick. So then our lease was up, so I moved home to take care of him. So I was here for a couple of years, and then he died in that January. And then in August of that year of 2005, I got in my car accident.
Your car accident?
So, yes.
I don't know about that.
You're kidding.
No, I've heard little pieces of random things about your life.
Yeah.
But it's one of the reasons I'm off my game here is because usually I know their stories.
Yeah.
But this I'm like so enthralled in listening that I can't think of what to say next because I don't know a lot of your story.
Well, okay. So in August of 2005, I was coming home early in the morning after being out all night, and I fell asleep. I'd been drinking, and I fell asleep at the wheel right at like where I should have gotten off at Orchard on 88. Yeah. I was asleep. I kept going, and I crashed like right where 47 comes in there.
Wow, so literally on the highway too.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. It's
yeah.
terrifying because I fall asleep a lot, so I try not to drive at night because I just doze off, and that's scary.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it has dictated literally every step of my life ever since.
Yeah.
It's my whole life.
Yeah. So it was. Were you in the hospital for that?
A long time. I was in the hospital for 4.5 months. And
crazy.
I broke basically everything from the waist down. My pelvis shattered. I broke both of my legs in multiple places.
Wow.
I had a huge wound on my left side. I don't know if you can tell, like there's an indent here in my leg. Like all of that was just gone.
Yeah.
So I had skin grafting. My bladder burst. So I had a lot of internal shit. It was bad. I mean, it was really bad.
That's crazy. It sounds amazing that you were even able to walk again.
They didn't think I mean, that wasn't a thing. They didn't know if
like
I
for
would
sure.
or not.
They were like, she'll at least be in a wheelchair.
Yeah. No, my entire body from my waist down is made of metal.
Yeah.
Which is all pins and rods and.
It's kind of the way we're going in life eventually anyway, right?
Yeah,
We'll
probably.
be mostly metal or robots.
Yeah.
So at least you're ahead of the curve.
I'm really fun at an airport. So that happened in 2005, and then so I lived here.
So those two things happened. Mm-hmm. That was January. You said your dad passed away?
Yes.
And then your car accident.
Was in August.
Jeez. What a kick in the balls.
Yeah, it was a bad year.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And the dog died.
I mean, I don't want to downplay what happened to you, but the dog.
I know, Clancy, my baby. So I'd be in and out of the hospital. Like I never was home, but I was in the hospital initially for like a month, and then I went to Mary and Joy rehab, and then I had to have more surgeries. So then I was back at the hospital, and then I was at a nursing home, and I needed a lot of care, and so I was in the Alzheimer's ward of the nursing home, which was weird. But so I was there, and really that physical therapist at that nursing home, because he just dealt with old people all day it was, so he took me on as like his project because he didn't have anything else to do. So he's
right.
like, we're going to do this. And so, I'll never forget him. He really worked with me every single day.
Yeah.
And got me up
Did you feel
again.
determined too? Where you're like, no,
I did. I never had it in my head that it just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Like I just was like, okay, well, one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everything sort of happened like that along the way anyway. It was like, at first I couldn't move my arm, and then one day it just started working.
Yeah.
Same thing with my left leg. For the longest time, like nothing moved on my left side, and then all of a sudden one day it just moved. And I always kind of had that, like, well, it'll just happen when it happens.
Yeah.
And it did.
It's pretty amazing.
Not to say that, now, like, to look at me, you wouldn't really know.
Right.
But internally, I mean, I have severe chronic pain.
Sure.
And now I have so much arthritis that has grown now around all of the breaks and the
because this is
metal.
almost 20 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Of just having, the metal inside you and just that much trauma to your body in general.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that happened in 2005, and so then I came home from the hospital, and then I had like daily rehab for a long time.
Yeah.
And then, but I was sort of taken out of the game of like life at that time. It was just me here rehabbing.
Yeah.
And then.
Because you weren't going out and doing anything.
I wasn't. Luckily, so many of my friends would come over all the time.
Yeah.
And
So say eventually this kind of became the hub, or at least where like people would come in to visit, or at least like I know we've had Friendsgivings here.
Yes.
And things like that also. That's coming down the line.
Yes.
At this point.
I always have hosted Thanksgiving for my friends. It's actually started when I was in high school because my parents would always go to visit other family.
So it's not because we're special.
No, it has nothing to do with you guys at all. It actually started out in high school as a weed Thanksgiving.
Oh.
Back in the day, I would make everything with pot in it. like the whole meal. That's how, I always have like pot brownies. That's what it's been.
The first time I had pot brownie was here in this house. There was a rocking chair.
It's right there.
Yes, that rocking chair. Because I remember everybody was like, just have like half. And I was like, totally. But I love brownies. So I had a whole brownie and sat in that chair and was like, everything is so great. I lived with Katie at that time, and I remember because I drove home, and I remember I didn't look out the window once. I was so enthralled with everything inside the car, and then I was just home.
Nice. Safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what it's been reduced to now, is just the pot brownies, because nobody can handle that shit anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started that a long time ago, and the people have totally shifted over the years of like, ooh, it's been all of us for years now, but
even when we have it with our group, it's still like
sometimes different people.
Yeah, random people or people that like haven't even been in the group for like years.
Yeah,
like that's kind of the like shuffle point of the year where it's like, who's going to be around or who's going to show up,
right?
And which is always exciting. But everybody tries to at least make an appearance. I don't think we did one last year, did they?
No, I haven't done. Well, I haven't done one probably since COVID.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know we were here. This is also kind of the hub if something horrible happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah, but it's just like, at least we can gather here, which is really it's a nice centralized spot.
It is. Those things have just sort of happened organically. It wasn't planned or anything that we ended up all here on those occasions, but I'm glad that we did.
Yeah.
Because those times have memories attached to them now.
That's true. So I can't believe that stuff's been happening since high school. I feel so betrayed. I was a late comer anyways, because I've never been to a sweater party.
Yeah.
I've only been to a couple of those things here because they kind of stopped for a little while when COVID happened.
Yeah.
So they're a big undertaking. But I like to think that as a group we kind of come together and try to, at least I would hope everybody picks up where they can to make it a big
I think
deal.
that's why there's always like random people here, because I invite everybody. It's like whoever can come can come. Also it's funny with like the people that I know, because I didn't go to high school with you. I don't have like that core group of like, there's like the little like circles of people that you've just known for so long, like you and Jason, whatever. Yeah. Like for me, I like have pockets of these people that I've known for, at different times.
I think that's kind of to me, that's one of the beautiful pieces. Like there's this huge thing that we're all part of, but it's also there's little pockets
everywhere.
Like there's certain people, even within that, like there'll be a little group of 10 or a little group of 15 or a little group of 5.
Right. And
then you've got your people like, if Jason's going to be there, Tim's going to be there, or vice versa.
Sure.
Or Heather and Katie. Like some people are a package deal also. Like it's a double-edged sword. And I talked a little bit about that with Katie also, because like sometimes I've always felt like an outsider where I don't belong in the group.
I don't know why.
Because I'm only in it because everybody likes Jason and I'm friends with Jason.
Well, that is projected.
100%. But that's because I'm a baby about things. The same reason why I don't go to things and then wonder why nobody ever talks to me. Because I'm an idiot.
I mean, it's bad. Like I'm the same way. I don't go to a lot of things. I have a lot of anxiety, and my health issue, my accident, it really does control every day, all day.
I mean, it's a big. I didn't realize it was such a big
part
thing.
of my life.
I know there was another accident, another part of your life that I also don't know anything about, other than it exists. Because I thought that was where all the stuff.
Are you talking about falling off the roof?
Yeah, I thought that was. Yeah, I was alluding because I didn't know if you were comfortable talking about it.
Oh no, that's fine. That to everybody. I mean, to me, that's just funny. But yeah.
To be fair, you survived a car accident that you shouldn't have walked again, and then did that, and then many years later, you fell off of a roof. Mm-hmm. That was in Chicago, right?
No, that was at Shike's house here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Again, I don't know anything about it other than it happened. I thought that's where most of your health issues stemmed from. Was that?
Oh no, that really, I had like nothing from that. I should have, but I didn't really. I, was in the hospital.
What were you doing on the roof? I thought it was in Chicago where it makes sense to be on a roof.
Oh, yeah, no. It was at his parents' house.
That's even funnier.
So we would go out there, like climb out his bedroom window.
Yeah.
So we were going out there and I just missed my step because we were hammered. And I rolled off and landed on the driveway.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I just actually came across a hilarious picture of me the next day. Like, I spent the night in the hospital. There's actually a picture on that, like, homie video of me in the hospital from that night.
I didn't know it was from that night. That's
it was
awesome.
from that night because Heather showed up and took that picture.
What a good friend.
It's my mom's picture in the homie video. She's like, yes, I made it. Like, yeah, it's such a great... So the next day was like a Hawks playoff game, and we were all at Schmed's house watching the game, and I showed up. I am like busted up, banged up on crutches.
So you literally spent the night in the hospital and then went to Schmed's to watch hockey.
Of course.
Love it.
Playoffs. So, yeah, there's a picture of me in his backyard. I have my crutches. I'm standing. I have my crutches. I got a beer in one hand, a cigarette in the other with the crutches. Rock and roll.
Do you, at this point, feel like you're indestructible?
Yeah. No, I don't, actually. I'm very breakable.
Yeah.
But, I don't know.
It's interesting because you seem so outgoing, like, and I think a lot of us do, but then, like, when we're left to our own devices, we're kind of inward thinking and introverted and very anxious.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, like even doing these episodes, like I get anxiety driving to meet the people, which is annoying, but it's a thing.
It's real.
Because like, but we all seem so outgoing and like genuinely friendly and stuff. It's just, I'm always curious how that manifests itself, and especially like, cause I know like you and I are similar, where we'll just not go to things.
Yeah.
And then like, when we go to them, we have a great time.
Of course.
But getting over that...
It's getting out of the house.
Exactly. Getting out of the house.
Going through that front door.
Yeah. And I think it's at this point in my life, because I kind of split my time in various places.
Yeah.
I also never feel like I belong anywhere.
Right.
It's easier to just get out. But then there's that anxiety of like having nowhere to hang your hat.
Sure.
Which is even worse.
Yeah, it's a problem because I'm always excited to go to the thing. I always say yes to everything. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm excited until, a couple hours before, and I'm like, I can't do this. That's half of it.
Yeah.
And the other, I mean, there are days where I just can't.
Sure, yeah, physically.
Walk that day.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's getting worse and worse these last couple years. I just can't, some days I can't make it work.
Yeah.
And it's rough and it's sad because then inevitably, you see pictures from whatever the thing was the next day and it's like, God damn it.
Yeah, FOMO is a tough thing.
It's
and I
horrible.
think that's one of the unfortunate side effects of social media. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody does it malicious. I mean, people do, but people I know don't do it maliciously.
No, of course
by any
not.
means.
You need to, post pictures or anything. You had fun.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just, it sucks, And then you're mad at yourself. Why couldn't you just pull it together?
Yeah.
It's, and then you're on this ride.
Yeah, well, right. That triggers then more depression where it's like, my body can't physically handle it. Now you're pissed at your body. And it's like, bruh.
And it's hard to get off that wheel.
Yeah, cut yourself some slack. It's a downward spiral for sure. Like, it's interesting. I think it would be, like, because we play a lot of board games because secretly a lot of us are big nerds in the group. I think you would love board games.
I do love board. I won't play Dungeon. I know you guys. Are you part of the D&D Friday night game?
I am. I haven't been to it in a long time, but I am part of that.
Yeah, no. I'm more of like a Trivial Pursuit kind of a person.
Yeah, like we play all more bigger nerd games, but they're fun. I think you still love them. You just prefer more party games. Also, you would love D&D.
I mean,
there's nobody in the world that gives D&D a chance and isn't immediately like, this is awesome and way different than I thought. But it's easy from the outside to be like, this is dumb.
It seems really complicated, too.
It's not. Well, it's complicated. Here's the thing. There's 2 Walshes in our little existence.
Yes.
A Dan and a Mike. I call them the Brothers Walsh. And they are insane about D&D. So you just make them do all the smart stuff that you don't want to deal with. Like,
there seems like there's a lot of names to remember.
There isn't. Because that's their job as the DM.
Okay.
Or if you're, depending on the player you are, you can take notes. I don't take notes. I can't pay attention to something and take notes on it. It's one or the other.
I don't want to take notes.
You don't have to. You make a character, make a backstory. That's my favorite part, and then you just play that character. Like in the game we play Fridays.
Yeah.
I'm a what the heck are they called? They're a bird person, basically.
A bird person?
Yeah, they're literally a bird.
Okay.
They can't fly. They're anthropomorphic, but they can't talk either. They can only mimic sounds they've heard. So now I have to communicate with my group and the world, only repeating sounds or words I've heard, and not knowing what they mean.
No.
It's so fun. I guess it is way more involved than I realized.
It seems really, that's what I'm saying. It's like way too involved.
I mean, Katie does it. She
Ask
does it.
a question, I want to answer the question, or move my
Nothing moves. It's all the worst part is it's all in your brain.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
I'm visual.
Yeah, that's how my sister is. She can't...
Pictionary.
Yeah.
That's my speed.
Yeah, I know. Traditional games.
Yeah.
So, like Monopoly.
I
Do you like Monopoly?
I love, yeah.
So, this is like
Huge
a gateway.
I just ordered the Curb Your Enthusiasm Monopoly.
Really?
game.
That's awesome. First off, most of us would still play classic games. At least me and my sister would, because she loves classic games.
Is there another way?
Another way?
Another way, except for classic?
What do you mean?
To play Monopoly, isn't that what you said?
Oh, yeah. So I have a game called The Doom That Came to Atlantic City.
Oh.
And it's literally Monopoly, except, you've heard of Cthulhu?
No.
You've never heard the name Cthulhu?
Nope.
Who are you even?
I am antiquated. That's who I may seem like I'm out in the I am not.
I mean, it's an antiquated
like
idea.
Traditional, mainstream.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, H.P. Lovecraft.
No, you're speaking words. I have no idea what you mean.
Yeah, I can feel people turning the channel. Either way, there's these ancient monsters that destroy the world. And in the Doom That Came to Atlantic City, it's Monopoly set up like that, except you're playing an ancient monster, destroying property and ruining the world instead of buying it.
Okay.
And to me, that's like a gateway game where it's like you recognize enough Monopoly, but you're seeing all this new absurd stuff that's like a gateway into bigger nerd games.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
I believe you.
I feel like you're not convinced.
Well, now that we did a hard 5 on that.
I could spend another hour telling you how amazing board games are. I won't. That's a different episode, probably a different show.
Yeah.
And probably just a conversation with myself. Where were we anyways?
I don't know. Depression and anxiety.
Oh, good. Let's get back to that.
Yeah.
So, when did you fall off the roof? When was that?
So I was living in Tucson at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been like 2010, maybe. Yeah, 9.
So it's only 5 years later.
Yeah.
So it's not that much farther. That's still crazy. One of the things I do want to talk about, when we just had to go and pick up that memory card, we were talking about our love of road trips.
Yes.
And God damn it, you've taken so many road trips.
I love a road trip.
Will you tell me about your road trips? Like we were just talking about your car is only 5 years old, and it's been to California, to Arizona, to New York, to Louisiana, multiple times.
Yeah.
Colorado, like multiple each one. Because
Yeah.
you say you take a road trip roughly twice a year.
Yeah, well, I go to out to California.
That's just California.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember your first road trip?
Like as a kid?
Sure.
I
like,
mean, because
there's a love there. Where does that? We're kind of barely.
I think I
touching
just
about
grew
it.
up because we never flew anywhere like on family vacations.
Oh, really?
We always drove.
Yeah.
So I just grew up like that in the minivan.
With the family.
Go, yeah, family.
I wonder if because I can only remember flying once to Florida, and we drove everywhere also, and we were part of a campground that was all over the Midwest and East Coast. So I wonder if there was something subconscious about like those are like the only time it felt like, at least for me, like quality family time where everybody was together and in a small enough space where you kind of had to get along. You know what I mean?
No, I mean there was a lot of fighting back in that minivan. I just grew up. It wasn't necessarily that we didn't fly anywhere. I mean, I would go every spring break to visit my great aunt and uncle in Florida when I was little.
Yeah.
And so I would fly by myself.
Back when you could do that.
Yeah.
Which is quote unquote
like
when you
7
could
years
do that.
old.
Yeah.
Here's your flight. Here's your ticket.
Yeah.
Get out there.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
You just go to one of the nice flight attendants and be like, "Hey, they're flying alone. They're a child. Take care of them."
I was a pretty independent kid like that. I mean, I remember I was just talking about this with my cousin the other day because she has kids and she was like, "At what age do you like let them ride their bike by themselves?" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" When I was a kid, I remember the first time I went downtown, like on the train with a friend. We were 9.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we were 9 and in 4th grade, me and Angie, and her mom worked in the city, so we would get on the train at whatever time in the morning alone and take the train downtown. I knew like where, Michigan Avenue was and FAO Schwartz and, Marshall Fields and whatever. We'd spend all day just walking around. And then at 5 o'clock, we'd catch a cab, give the cab driver her mom's work address, like on LaSalle or something like that. Yeah. And we'd go to like get her mom at work, and then we would go home with her mom.
That's insane.
I was 9 years old. Yeah. We're just like cruising around, streetwise.
Yeah. Now,
you remember that?
Yeah. I know, like, you and I don't have kids, so our opinions are worthless. But do you think that if you were a parent, would you allow that today or be fazed by it?
Fuck no. Not at that age. Not in this world. I mean, I really do think it's a little bit different. I know they say, like, oh, they just hear about it more or whatever. I think it is a little bit different these days.
Sure.
And I don't know. I mean, the city has never been like a scary thing. I grew up, my mom and dad lived there, that we were always downtown. We were always in the city from the earliest I can remember. So it was never this big scary place that I was always there. Yeah. I knew my way around. I knew where things were. So I was used to it.
I think that helped. Yeah, my dad grew up in the city, so I was never afraid of it either.
Yeah.
But I also never liked going there until the Katie and Shaik like lived up there.
Really?
Yeah.
That was like when you.
That was like the most time I went up there.
That's
fun. Well, because it was so much fun too. Like.
Yeah.
God, we had so much fun.
We did have a lot of fun. I missed half of that because I was also in Tucson for half of that time period.
Is that when you lived in Tucson?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. So like that, do you remember that New Year's Eve?
That New Year's Eve? That's when we got all dressed up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Katie, Tiffany were talking about that.
Yeah, so that New Year's Eve, I was actually just home for the holidays that year. Yeah, I was living in Tucson.
We slept in the train station that night.
Why did you not just stay? I pulled Jay out of the gutter and missed like New Year, like I missed midnight, like countdown.
Yeah.
Because he was like almost lying face down in the gutter, like we had gone to some bar.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I am wearing my grandmother's real mink, like full length coat.
Yeah.
I am dragging him like out of the bar that we were like at. He's falling down.
Yeah.
We somehow end up like I hear the countdown like midnight. I'm outside. And somehow we got him, like we met up with whoever else was like because we were close by that place. And oh my God, that was a crazy night.
Yeah, there was a group of like 8 of us.
Here, there isn't that picture of the 3 of us like right there somewhere? I thought it was. Of
there
me,
is a
Katie,
There is a picture of the three of you.
We were in New York. There's a picture from that night, though, of me, Katie, and Heather.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was like 8 of us dressed to the nines, just sleeping laying on the gross floor.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, we're not like in the nice area of the train station, like literally down where you actually get on at Union Station.
Like on the platform?
On the platform where it's gross, and we're just laying there. I think Shogar was the only one with any sense to like, he was at a table by the food court.
Shogar was there that night? I don't even remember.
He was there a night. I mean, we could be crossing our wires also.
Yeah.
There's so many different times up there.
It all melds into one.
Yeah. It was a good time, though. It was so much fun.
It was a good spot.
So, how long did you live in Tucson?
I lived there for 2 years, about, more or less.
I don't even remember what year that was.
So it was 2009 to 2011 I lived there.
Damn, so that was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. And I was going to school. And then...
Oh, yeah, that's where we left off so long ago.
Yeah.
You were talking about going back to school.
Right.
God, what a fucking tangent. Let's go back there. So you moved to Tucson to go back to school?
Yeah. So I wanted to go back to school.
For?
Nursing. Because at that time, my whole life was medical.
Right.
So it was like, I could do this. Because I know so much already.
Yeah. And did you go to college at all after high school? Like, did you have?
I did.
You already had some in the.
I went to Columbia. Yeah.
So you had some in the bank already.
Yeah. Jimmy Jensen and I went to Columbia.
Really?
So, yeah.
I like that guy.
Carpool.
I haven't talked to that guy in so long.
He lives in Tucson now.
Oh, you're right. Damn,
yeah.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Him and the family look amazing too. Good for him.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that guy. But you want to get into nursing?
Yeah. So I was going to school for that out there, and at some point I had to start clinicals, and it was like, I can't fucking do this. Like, I can't be on my feet.
Right.
For that long. There's no way I'm going to be able to...
Yeah, nurses work crazy schedules.
Make this work. I mean, just the physical stamina of it all, I couldn't handle. So I'm like, all right, well, got some major molecular chemistry under my belt, but...
Nice.
Past that...
That's exciting.
I can't fucking stand up. Yeah. So...
There's so many jobs you can sit down at?
Yeah. That's not one of them. So anyway, so I moved, so I was there, and it got to a point out there where I was just like, I'm not going to be able to do this, So I came back.
Did you ever finish a degree?
I was really missing everybody at that time.
Yeah, it's interesting being away from everybody.
It's hard.
Because when you live in it, even like when we avoid things to a certain extent, being away from it is still
hard.
Yeah, because it like just eats away at you.
Well, and at that time, I was super close with Katie, Heather, Jay, like all,
Yeah.
And you guys, and so we were, during that time, everybody was together a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
It's interesting that you said me, because this is an interesting. I keep fucking saying interesting, and I hate it, but it is genuinely interesting because we don't talk often.
No.
But I do feel like we're close.
Yeah.
Like I would hit you up. When I tried to text you, and I was like, I don't have your fucking number. That's weird. That didn't even make sense. So I had to do a Facebook Messenger, and I was like, this is embarrassing.
That was an old sentence.
Facebook Messenger.
Facebook Messenger.
I had to hit you up on the AIM.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because at that time, you were in AP?
Oh, yeah, that's true. The band was around, which was helpful to keep everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, the shows and the band were kind of a glue.
Throughout the whole thing, like when Short of All was together, when you guys were together, when even Chasing You was together. It's always sort of been,
That's true.
We could go back to Plastic Santa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's not.
No, but we could.
But we'll definitely make the reference, but nobody wants to hear that. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, they were,
They existed.
They did. They used to play, so I don't know if you were ever at those parties out, like at Orchard and 34 when that old house was still there.
Yeah.
Ryan Miller lived there.
Yeah.
Scott Miller lived there.
I never went there.
Adam Newcomer lived there.
I remember, I think I was like supposed to go there one time, and I was like, nah. Nah, I'm good. I saw like...
Cops busted it up a couple times.
I saw
Everybody
3 Crease and
one
Noozle
night.
a few times.
Yeah. And Plastic Santa.
Yeah, it was...
In the garage. Yeah, those were... Yeah. So, right, like that...
I think there was a Connor stock once also. You might not have been around yet.
No.
But this is when we were all in high school still.
Yeah.
In Fox Chase, actually, at the end, right over there. Mm-hmm. Connor had all the bands over in his garage one night. I haven't thought about that
in a battle?
In like 30 years, which is exaggeration, but at least 20. Mm-hmm. I can't even remember that. I hope I'm not misremembering. So somebody else, when they hear this, will have to verify that. I swear there was, because he made his own Connor stock shirt.
Oh my God.
That he like wrote in marker for school, and that would have like I couldn't even remember who would have been there, but like all the who's who of the musicians were there, and all of our 16-year-old.
The who's who of the musicians.
And all of our 16-year-old glory. Yeah, because he used to make fun of me for liking punk rock because I was a metalhead through high school. Until my friend Dana showed me The Decline. Yeah. And then gave me a bunch of NoFX albums, and I was like, oh, I'm actually a punk rocker. That's crazy.
Converted. Yeah, so it was actually like during that time that those parties were happening out there that I was hanging out with everybody, met everybody, and then decided to move out here.
Nice.
It was right during then.
So that was...
and like hanging out in Melissa Phillips' basement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also. We used to go to her house in high school.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
The original people like Shike and everybody that I would always were always like a little bit older, like part of that like older set. Like Heather and everybody. Like I didn't start hanging out with her until much later. Mm-hmm. I remember her and Katie. And a couple other girls like coming to when I lived at Covey. Yeah. And like coming and like, drinking all my booze. Like, who are these bitches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did what was there in then?
You know, I don't know. At some point, we just became friends. I'm sure it was with Shike. I'm sure that's how that happened.
Yeah. Because I've always loved the fact that, like, at least because I was friends with Dave, was my first friend when I moved to Oswego back in, like, 94. So I had met Heather when, she must, if I was 11, she was, like, 9 or 10 or whatever. I don't know how old she is now.
How old are you now?
40.
40.
Yeah.
She's 2 years younger than us.
Okay, yeah. So she would have been, like, 9.
Yeah.
So that was the first time I met her, which is insane to think about. The Janowskis are a crazy bunch. Speaking of a bunch, you also have so many cousins.
I do.
That it's insane. Like, when Katie Leeser was on, Jesus Christ, the Leeser clan is insane. Yeah, they're a
big group, too.
But, like, to think about the Bamrick clan and the Leeser clan, like, if this was, like, the medieval times, like, you guys would definitely do the handshake.
Yeah.
And would be like, we'll unite the clans. Mm-hmm. How is it? You said they're from Detroit.
So my dad's family is. Yeah. My dad's side of the family is everybody's Irish. Right. If you want to start there.
In the world.
I'm like almost 100% Irish because I got it everywhere on both sides.
Yeah.
So they're all from, just outside of Detroit. My dad's the only kid that like left.
Yeah. Detroit.
Went to Chicago. Everybody else is still
there.
You
said he had like 18 cousins.
No, I have 18.
No, you have 18.
First cousins. Yeah.
That's too many.
I know. And then
they all have
first
kids.
And second, yeah.
Kids.
And then they all have kids, and there's so many of them that they're wonderful. And it's a huge family.
Because you're actually close with your family also.
I am. I'm really close to my mom's side of the family. My mom's side, I'm extremely close with my cousins in San Diego and my aunt that's why I'm always going there.
Right.
Like, I'm really close to them.
Yeah. Big families, they're always insane to me. I'm always impressed by anybody that can, one, maintain friendships, because they're not easy per se.
Yeah.
I'm also impressed with big families just because families make me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, like, to see people that like each other genuinely is like, that doesn't make sense.
I have been blessed to have an incredibly wonderful family. They were all super close. So, my mom's side of the family, they all grew up in Elgin. And so she with her cousins were like her sisters. They're all super, super close.
Yeah.
And they just always had that, like, in them. Like, their moms were so tight, and they just wanted that for all the kids. So even though my cousins in California have lived their whole lives, we are as close as if they lived right next door.
Yeah,
we talk
that's
every
amazing.
day, every other day. I mean, like, yeah.
That's awesome.
We're just very close.
Let's use that as a segue to feed back into the other tangent we skipped off on of your road tripping.
Oh, yeah.
This episode is all over the place.
Wild.
It's wild. I'll blame myself for that, but I still like it.
Yeah.
So, the road tripping, so you go to California twice a year.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
Plus all these other ones?
Well, no, I mean, I go out there. I always go to Tucson as well at, like, the same time.
Yeah.
Because my aunt lives there. And I have friends from when I lived there. So I always stop there and then keep going. It's only 6 hours from there to San Diego.
Right. That makes sense.
So I spend a lot of time, like, going back and forth from there.
Yeah.
And then, Colorado, I mean, just, we were talking about my car. It was like just with that, I'd been there for his wedding. So it's been out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Down to New Orleans. So, but most of my road tripping is, out west.
Yeah, I still never even been out west. Makes me sad. Other, like, Colorado's as far as I've been.
Well, next time.
I love road trips.
On
Do you always
with.
go alone, or do you travel with somebody?
I mean, I'm usually alone. Sometimes Mom's with me, but
Yeah.
not always.
I would gladly go.
Anytime.
Sounds amazing.
I know. I keep trying to make the loop, but it just hasn't worked out. So, for things keep getting in the way, but I keep trying to, all right, next time I'm in San Diego, I'm going to drive north. I'm going to go to Shikes in Tahoe, and then I'm going to come home through Colorado and go that way and just see everybody in this big loop. But
that would be an amazing
things
loop.
keep getting in the way of that, so it hasn't worked yet, but
sometimes
I'm going to do
life
it.
is silly. So New York then was more like a vacation.
Yeah.
And Louisiana was more like a vacation.
It was,
seems.
yeah.
But you spend time in general in Tucson and San Diego.
I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Where else would you like to go?
So I've never been up to, I've never been to Boston. I've never been to the Northeast. I want to go up that way. New Hampshire.
Yeah. I spent some time in Massachusetts. We went and saw Drew one time. It's actually pretty awesome there.
I bet.
Well, it depends who you're with too. It was me and Jason.
Well, yeah.
Johnny
it's always
Furry.
who you're with.
Yeah, we had a really fun time. It was only for a weekend, but we went to a hockey game. It was a wicked pissa. It's I love it too. I love leaving Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I don't realize about our accent here, but when you go somewhere else, a Chicago accent is
biggest Chicago accent.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't think that's true.
All my relatives out in San Diego think I have the craziest Chicago accent.
Really?
I'm like, oh my God, if you heard some of the people.
It's weird because even knowing the stereotypical Chicago accent.
Yeah, D's, dem, and does.
But yeah, we don't have that.
No.
It's funny that anybody else in the world can hear it, though.
Yeah.
Have you ever left the country?
Yes.
Really?
I've been to Ireland. I've been to
Really?
France. I've been to England.
Is that just those three?
Yes.
When did you go to France?
I went to France when I was 15. I went to
Is this another solo trip where you're just like, I'm just going to go to France?
Yeah.
Like you used to
by
go to
myself.
the city?
I was like, peace. No, my uncle always worked for McDonald's. You know, all the McDonald's shit at the Michigan house,
Yeah.
right? So McDonald's was sponsoring the World Cup that year, and it was in Paris.
Oh, nice.
And so they took me with them. So I went to the World Cup.
Yeah. Did you go on the most recent Ireland trip, or was it different?
Ireland, I went in for my high school graduation. That was
Your gift to you?
my gift, yeah.
That's awesome. And then when did you, in England?
England was the same trip as the France trip.
Okay, on your
Yeah.
way. Have you gone, like...
So I haven't gone recently.
Right. Have you
I've
been
been
out
to
of...
Mexico about like 1,000 times, but
Yeah, I feel like that's just...
yeah, it's not really like,
It's like, oh, I went
out of this
across the
country.
border into Canada to
Yeah,
grab
I went
some
to
gas.
Windsor, right?
Yeah. Have you? So you haven't been outside of the country, like, kind of as an adult?
No, I mean, no, not other than Mexico. No,
Yeah.
I would love to. I want to go to. I really want to go to Croatia.
Really?
Yeah,
What's the draw of Croatia?
it just looks amazing.
It does look amazing.
Looks
there.
beautiful.
I've
On
always
the
wanted to
water.
go to India.
Yeah,
I feel like India just seems... I love the culture, and it just seems so beautiful there. There's probably way too many people, but
yeah.
it still looks awesome.
I want to go there. My cousin actually, my baby cousin Christian, just moved to Japan
Really?
with his wife. Yep.
Man, I'm so jealous.
And so, he's teaching English over there.
Does he have an English degree?
So, no, he doesn't. He just signed up with this company.
What?
Yeah.
See, that I want to do that.
I mean, it took a while. He had to interview
Sure.
and all of that
Yeah.
shit, but
Like, I have friends in Germany, and I'm always like, you know what? Since I work at a school, I would love to just fuck off for the summer and go somewhere abroad for the summer.
he had to sign he's like a 2-year
yeah.
commitment.
Well, yeah, that particular thing. But I'm sure there's some, like, a summer school project or something. Like, I figured I would presume you at least had to have had a degree in English.
Nope. And he doesn't speak Japanese.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
He's learning it now, but
Yeah,
not
that's
when he
a
first
dream of mine mine and Jay's is to go to Japan.
Yeah.
Because of our love of wrestling.
Well, it's funny because now it seems like a realistic thing now with my cousin living there. Heather's brother lives there.
Yeah.
They live like 3 hours apart. So
Really?
like,
That's
we
not
could
that
just
far.
go.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a friend of mine that I met through video games that lives in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
He lived over there for like 5 months and met his wife there.
Yeah.
So he goes there all the time. He's got not dual citizenship, but
No, there's tons of places I would like to see. We'll see. Maybe one day.
maybe one day. The good news is they're all on the internet.
I really want to go to Scotland too.
Yeah. Do you ever cause there's certain places that I'm like, I would love to go, but I feel like I wouldn't want to leave.
Yeah. I would like to move to Ireland.
Yeah. Like when I think, because
I could move there.
when I think of like my life here, it's whatever. It's hustle and bustle, like in a very, very low level. But like I have all my stuff.
Yeah.
And my stuff is like my hobbies and what I like. And it's not a definition of me, but it's stuff that I enjoy because I have access to it. But then when I think about going to Ireland and being like, I don't need any of this stuff. What I need is to live in the hills of Ireland.
I know. They're still, regular people. They
Sure.
have their stuff
Exactly.
just like anybody else does.
Yeah.
They're just a peaceful people.
Plus they have the best accents. I don't know what else besides that. I don't know. What else do you want to say?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What's next for Kate Bamrick?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, I don't think. I mean,
Not much. We're
Yeah.
coming to the end.
I don't know. Everything's very uncertain all the time with me because I just never know how I'm going to feel.
Sure.
So,
But I
for
think we
now,
like to
just
think
hanging out with
ideally,
Ma.
right? Yeah. Hanging out with Ma. Do you think we'll do a Friendsgiving this year?
What's funny is that I was going to do it this last year,
Yeah.
but then nobody could do it. Like, everybody's like, I got plans, I can't do it, whatever. So I have the fucking turkey that I had already bought. It's
Really?
in the freezer.
Sweet. Well, let's say right now, because this is recorded before it's airing.
Yeah.
So this is gonna air probably somewhere in the middle of August.
Okay.
That'll be enough time. Like that's when you would announce anything anyway.
Yeah.
Let's announce it
Everybody,
now.
yeah.
That Friendsgiving is happening.
To all
here.
the homies.
The people that would be invited are invited.
Yeah.
And if none of you assholes are coming, then fuck, I'll come.
Okay. Just take out that fucking 20-pound turkey.
I guarantee you we could eat that turkey.
No, not me, but...
I can.
Yeah, everybody's invited. You all know now. Date TBD.
Yeah, well, we'll be in direct contact.
Yeah.
Not that anybody listens to the show, but we don't want 1 million people showing
I bet
up.
Everybody's going to listen to this. It was great.
I hope so.
Except me, because I don't want to hear my own voice.
That's like, yeah, it's funny you said that because I don't listen to any of them.
No.
And I don't really edit them. Like, this one had a weird thing where the battery died and I plugged it in. So I'm going to have to do a little editing. But unless like something crazy happens, I don't listen to them. And then people will message me about the episodes.
Yeah.
And about something in it. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't hear it.
Or they'll be like, hey man, thanks for listening. And I'm like, cool, thanks. But every time they directly reference something, I'm like, I believe you heard that. And I believe I said it. But I have no idea.
I feel like my voice is 8 octaves higher than what I think it is.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, you have a really low voice.
I think I do, but when I hear it on stuff, I'm like, oh my God.
It sounds like,
why is it so like high pitched?
Let's say when I hear mine, I hear a lisp, and I'm like, to me it sounds so good. And people, I still get compliments on it sometimes, which I like, but I'm like, I think you're lying.
On the lisp?
I don't get compliments on the lisp. I'm hoping the lisp is the thing of my imagination. Now you've just given me a complex.
No, but now I'm listening for it.
I'm lisping for it.
Yeah, listening.
No, but like, because I always, back in the day when we used to drink and party all night, I would always get a really raspy voice because I would always talk a lot and yell a lot.
Yeah.
And I would get like what I thought was the sexiest voice ever.
Oh.
But I've never heard that recorded. So one day I should stay up really late and scream all day and then record a solo episode and see what that sounds like. Because then I'll just sound like I'll be like, you're listening to smooth jazz.
Mine is a combination of having my... being like trached for so long that it like ruined my vocal cords, and smoking 8,000 cigarettes a day. That'll bring it down.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for 20 more years to you to have that like really raspy 60-year-old smoking lady's voice. Mm-hmm. That'll be exciting.
Yeah, I want to sound like the lady from Beetlejuice, the old lady.
She's the best.
With the thing.
Coach?
Coach.
I'm not your coach. He survived.
He survived.
Do you think you'll ever quit smoking?
Yeah, I do.
Fair enough.
Yes, I do.
I hope that's true.
It's not going to be today.
Tim Day.
But maybe tomorrow.
Great. I don't have much faith in tomorrow, but...
No.
Maybe one of the tomorrows.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No.
I'm excited, actually. It's been amazing talking to you. I
appreciate
has. You so much. Hey, come on. It's been amazing talking. Oh, I get it. You're reciprocating.
Yeah.
Sorry, nice people. I don't understand. I'm used to being shit on. So if you do that, I'm like, this person gets
Stop yourself.
But yeah, it means so much to me that you took the time. Thank you so much. At some point, you should definitely play nerd games.
Nerd games.
Yeah, I have half a mind to just bring some over sometime.
Do it.
So you do it right here at the table.
That's the thing about me. Anybody is welcome in this house. I might not go anywhere, but come over anytime.
Well, great. If there's a spare room, I'll just stay.
There's a couple.
Perfect.
There's 3 beds in the basement.
Oh, I don't require much space. I curl up into a very small ball.
Nice.
As long as I can shower once in a while, done.
Okay.
We'll have to talk about that offline. Thank you so much.
Yeah.